Hey everyone, welcome to the first video of 2023. In this video I am making over some fake fruit that I had lying around, adding a dirt and moss effect to them, and buying around, I mean I actually found them a few months ago in an op shop. And the other project is I am making some concrete sphere kind of balls with a couple of different finishes out of kids rubber plastic balls that I got at the $2 everything shop. So with both projects here I'm essentially doing the same thing. I am layering it up with the concrete product called Cemix. It does take a few layers, as I didn't spray the fruit first and I possibly should have, and also with the balls being quite soft, they dented quite easily. Well, only one did, and it had a soft patch, so I needed to redo it. But aside from that, the product went on relatively easy and stayed on. This is the first layers going on. With the fruit I tended to just cover it all at once, and the balls I did half the sphere at the time, letting the bottom half or a half to set essentially, and then I would pretty much go in and do the full cover, a layer of a full cover. As I mentioned, I didn't get full coverage on the fruit because I think I hadn't sprayed, and it was a very smooth surface that I was trying to, that the Cemix was trying to adhere to. So essentially I just stopped trying, and because I knew that I was adding dirt, so I figured it would actually give it a layer of dimension where the concrete was and the dirt was and the moss was. So yeah, and I think it actually turned out alright, but we'll get there soon. This is where I discovered that there was a soft patch in the ball. So, and I also actually thought when I was doing them, this was the final layer, it was just going to be a plain concrete finish, but that didn't happen. As the video is called, moss finish. So all I did with the one that had the soft patch was I just went in and filled that patch and covered the ball again to even it all out, and that did actually seem to fix it, and I had no problems going forward aside from that. So while I had the concrete out, I went in again and tried to just add a little bit more texture. I left all these to dry, and then when I came back and started or carried on with my paint finish that I was giving them. I had two different paint colours in this dish. One was a Resene Mountain Mist, and the other was just a generic brand of a dark grey. They were very much washes rather than a paint. Here they are in their painted finish, all very boring, which is why I decided to do the next step. So this is essentially borax. So it's some plays I had with doing borax crystals onto things, and this was the dried leftover in the bottom of the jar, and I've added a little bit of black alcohol ink to give it some contrast, and I am using the Cemix concrete here again, and I'm just pushing them into that. I haven't edited the Borax video yet, but when it's done, I will put a link in the description and a card here so you can. Initially, I was a little bit disappointed that a lot of the crystals dropped out of the concrete. I think that was because, one, maybe I didn't have enough depth of concrete on, and two, I was in a little bit of a hurry. I was keen to see the finished product, and I basically knocked them out, I think. However, I do like how they have turned out. I think the borax in the concrete adds a really cool textural difference, and the colours as well. Now back to the faux fruit. With adding the moss here, I had varying levels of success with sprays. In this particular part, you will see me using the clear rust coat gloss to adhere the moss. It did okay, but it wasn't great. And I also did try some spray adhesive, and that did okay as well. But in the end, I actually ended up using some of my polystyrene glue. You can see here how the apple concrete looks really shiny. This is what I said is the polystyrene glue. It's actually a varnish because it's a liquid, but if you leave it go tacky, it goes really sticky, and I found it quite good to roll around and add the moss to the products with. You will see it when I'm patting it, and you might see some stringy bits. This is the polystyrene glue when it's really tacky. Here I'm just checking that I'm happy with the coverage, and I'm not, so I'm just adding little bits and pieces everywhere. This is the glue I was mentioning, the varnish. So just adding a little bit of dirt. I did end up using the polystyrene varnish and the Rustoleum gloss varnish quite evenly on the projects. I was just a little bit picky where I dipped my brush, a dirty brush, into the varnish really, so that's when I used the spray. I'm also going to add some paint to them, just to add a bit of depth to the moss. It's a golden colour, and it's one that I use all the time. It's called green gold, and I do use it as a wash. It's a very pigmented, so I make it quite a watery wash. Speeding it up because it's taking too much time, way too much time in camera world or video world or YouTube world. So the wash actually looks darker than it comes out, so it looks really good. So here I am just brushing them down a little, getting rid of the excess of the moss. And here is the finished product. You can see the moss, you can see the dirt and the concrete, and you can just see the toning of the green gold on some of the fruit, as I said, it's really light and you can hardly see it. So it just adds a little bit of depth and colour difference. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great start to the new year.